So in the previous excerpts, we explained the concepts of prospection, retrospection. We explained how they can be applied when this prospection, retrospection takes place between main verb and complement. We explained what happens when it takes place within the noun, the verb phrase between auxiliary and main verb. And now we are going to explain what it entails when it's the relationship between two sentences, especially when one is submitted to the other. So in the first place, we have to, when we want to express something that might require the use of a connector, and that sets a relationship between two sentences, we have, in the first place, we have to decide which of our sentences is going to be the reference of time. So once we have the reference of time, then we will jump to the future, no, forwards or backwards. To the future is wrong, because we might have to jump forwards, but we might still be in the past. For example, what happens when we are in the present? Well, when we are in the present, obviously the prospection will be in the future and the retrospection will be in the past. For example, she's telling me that she will come back tomorrow. She's telling me that she came yesterday. Okay, so I jump to the future, I jump forward, and I jump to the future unavoidably. And if my reference of time is the present, if I am retrospective, I jump to the past unavoidably. What happens when my time of reference is past? For example, yesterday she told me, okay, now, if she told me what she was going to do the next day, the tense I will use is the conditional. The conditional is prospection in the past. She told me that she would come the next day. If what she tells me is what had happened the day before, she will use the past perfect. She told me that she had been to London 3 times. So that is why the past perfect needs a past simple in order to be used in a sentence properly, because the past perfect is not really a tense from my point of view. It's a prospective form of the past. It's the prospection of the past. I cannot use a past perfect all by itself. I can use a past simple all by itself. Yesterday I got up at 5. But I cannot use a past perfect all by itself if I don't have a reference of time which makes me move back to a further past. What happens when my reference of time is future? The problem with the future is that the furthest future tense that I have is the will, because the other futures establish a relationship between the future and the present. It might be a plan I have in the present, or it might be an arrangement that I have already started to carry out, let's say, in the present. So it is connected to the present, which is the furthest future tense that I have. It is the will. So if I wish to show prospection in the future, there is no other tense I can use to do that. So what do? Very simple. We use, when we want to establish this prospection, retrospection in the future, that the time of reference being future, the tense we will use for that time of reference will be present simple. Once we use the present simple as the future reference of time, we can jump to a further future, which is the will, or we can will plus simple infinitive, bare infinitive. And if we want to jump backwards, which is still future, we will use a perfect bare infinitive, or a bare perfect infinitive, better. For example, when I retire, I will read 100 books. This means that I have to retire first, and then I will read the 100 books. When I retire, I will have worked for 30 years. This means that the retirement will be the deadline and will be the end of those 30 years that I am talking about. So I have to move to look back and I jump backwards. This is what I mean that prospection and retrospection means when we are setting a relationship, establishing a relationship between two actions in which one is submitted to the other, taking one as the reference of time and taking the other as the secondary action to which we will apply the prospection and or the retrospection.